Welcome to the recap of the HR Analyst course. In this course you've learned a lot of different things that all interconnect. We started off at strategic workforce planning. We took a look at the key workforce characteristics. You need to have the right size, you don't want to be overstaffed or understaffed, the right shape, the right cost, and the right agility. You also learned that HR strategy should follow organizational strategy. One of the things that you see happen often is that HR defines its own strategy that's not really connected with the organizational strategy. On the other hand, organizational strategy often follows the capabilities of the workforce. And that's why your workforce map and your workforce characteristics, having a clean picture of them, is so important, because in order to build a competitive advantage, you want to leverage your critical resources, and your personnel, your human capital, are one of these resources. Organizational strategy will therefore follow the capabilities of your workforce just as much as HR strategy will follow the organizational strategy. We also took a look at how the external environment could impact your workforce. This means that instead of looking at the internal structure and then determining your organizational strategy, you turn this model around and you say, hey, let's look at the external forces and see how we can internally adapt our organization to these forces in the best possible way. After learning about this, we took a look at HR data. HR data, in the best case scenario, comes from different HR systems that are then extracted, transformed and loaded into a data warehouse or different data cubes. And you can do your HR reporting and HR data analysis from that warehouse. But hardly any organizations are that far, especially when it comes to HR data. A lot of organizations still work with raw data that come from the source systems, and they analyze the data just from the source systems without combining them. And starting to combine this data is an easy win, and you learn more about it in the later modules. But before we talked about how to do that in practice, we took a look at quantifying HR cost. When you think about HR interventions, you want to know what they cost and you want to quantify the benefit. And quantifying the benefit often has to do with quantifying the cost of the problem. So if you want to quantify an intervention on turnover, you want to quantify the cost of turnover, because that will help you to quantify the benefits of turnover. A 1% reduction in turnover will benefit you by reducing about 1% of the turnover cost. After looking at this and exploring how activity-based costing worked, we took a look at how this is applied in recruitment using the utility analysis. And you even calculated how different recruitment methods could influence the lifetime value of an employee. When you start with analytics, there's 3 steps you should take. Start with a problem, please don't reinvent the wheel, and select relevant data and check the levels of analysis, check for validity, and check for reliability. And we started to do this in Excel. We combined data based on a concrete question from an HR manager, and we started to play around with the data. You learned how to build pivot tables, create slices, and create interactive dashboards in Excel. We also took a look at how you can analyze data in Excel. And this is an example of a regression analysis. You learned that you can do this analysis and a lot of other analyses without having to leave Excel. You can just activate the statistical package within Excel. But Excel has its limitations. Excel can only work with so much data. Once you're over a few 100,000 cells of data, Excel starts to get really slow, and you probably experienced that in one of the exercises. In order to fix that, we moved to Power BI. In Power BI, we first loaded the data, we transformed and modified the data, we generated data, we made connections between different data sets, and then we started to visualize data. And as you can see, visualizing in Excel already looks quite good, but Power BI takes it to a whole different level. It's relatively easy to create good-looking dashboards. In this course, you've learned the HR Analyst Toolkit. You've learned the relevance of following business strategy. You've learned how you can quantify key HR processes. You can express them in a dollar or in a euro value. You've learned how to manually aggregate and transform data using Excel and Power BI. You've learned how to analyze data using Excel, and you've learned how to visualize data. You've got all the basics under control, and the only thing that's left for me to do is to wish you good luck on your journey and to basically say, have fun playing around with the HR data at your disposal, because the field of analytics is quite young. There's still a lot you can do, a lot you can discover, and a lot of value that you can add for your organization. And this will be different from one organization to another, but for each and every organization, there's a lot of value to add, and I wish you good luck in doing so. Bye bye.